Good morning, welcome to the Business Update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe, and today we are going to discuss the economic implication of Ghana's credit rating. But before then, let's get to know the story surrounding the economic implication of Ghana's credit rating. Moody's, an international credit rating agency, has raised Ghana's long-term local and foreign currency issuer rating to CAA2 from CAA3 and CA respectively, citing substantial debt restructuring that has eased the government's financial pressures. The agency also upgrades Ghana's outlook from stable to positive, noting that the improved outlook reflects the potential reduction of liquidity risks through ongoing fiscal consolidation efforts supported by IMF program. On the same story, the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, has expressed satisfaction with Moody's recent upgrade of the country's credit rating, calling it a positive development. He highlighted that the agency's decision to raise Ghana's long-term local and foreign currency issuer rating from CAA3 to CAA2 with a positive outlook marks the first upgrade since February 2022. According to the minister, the improved rating reflects the successful completion of the country's comprehensive debt treatment, which has significantly eased pressures on government finances. On this story, we will be speaking with a doctor and also a doctor in philosophy in the person of Dr. Joseph Nchibefi, who happens to be the Vice Dean of Akinton Appiah Menka University of Skill Training and Entrepreneur Development, and also at the Department of Economics. He also happens to be the patron for the Economic Students Association of Ghana. He'll be joining with us, and we are going to have in-depth analysis on the Ghana's credit rating shortly. But before he joins, I would like we all to understand that the credit rating is based on so many factors. And according to Moody's International, they base on the current IMF program or the bailout, which has eased the pressures on finances. Many economists have expressed their thoughts on this, saying that governments need to actually cut down expenditure. But we are going to know more into this as we connect Dr. Joseph Nchibefi on the phone line section. Yes, so we are trying to get Doctor. Yes, so we are still getting Doctor. But as Doctor, as my producer is connecting Doctor, let's get to understand ourselves that how possible do you think that this credit rating, is it really going to imply to us in our daily activity or not? Yes, I think Doctor is on the line. Doctor, good morning. Welcome to the Business Update segment of Cocoa Digest Morning Show.
Good morning. Good morning, my brother. I hope you're okay.
Doctor, by grace, you are doing so wonderful. And we are so grateful having you this morning.
Thank you. Good morning to your listeners as well.
Okay, Doctor. Yes, Doctor, I believe you've had a look at the story yourself. And personally, Doctor, what is your take on the story about the Ghana's credit rating?
Yes, it's a good news, but we have to welcome it with a lot of caution.
Okay.
Because we still happen to find ourselves in the high risk bracket.
Okay.
You know, Moody's has three categories: the AAA, the BBB, and then the C.
Okay.
And then all those countries within the C are mostly high-risk countries. And so even though it's an upgrade, we still happen to find ourselves in the C bracket. So we should be a little bit cautious in how we celebrate, for want of a better way, or how we perceive the performance of the economy, because it's still high risk regardless of where we find ourselves within the C bracket.
Okay, Doctor. But Doctor, shortly, please, we would like you to just touch on what is all about this credit rating from the CAA3 since February 2022, currently to CAA2. Doctor, what is all about it? What does it really mean to the layman?
Yes, so credit rating basically is the ability, the assessment of an individual, organization, or government's ability to repay monies or debt advanced to that individual.
Okay.
And so if you are rated very high, it means that you are credit wealthy, and that if you are given any money, you could repay within the specific time frame or specific arrangements. If you are high risk, it means that you will not be able to pay, and so investors are always cautious in advancing money. And even if they will advance, the cost of advancing money to you would be high, so to speak, to mitigate the whatever risk associated with it.
Okay, Doc.
So basically, that is credit rating.
Okay, Doc. But Doc, the question people are asking is, why is it that currently we've had this upgrade from the CAA3 to CAA2? Moody's International cited that because of the IMF bailout. Do you really agree to that, Doc?
Of course, why not? Because once IMF gives you money, there will be some sort of conditionalities for you to be able to meet them so that you can pay off IMF. And so anytime you take money from somebody and you pay, it takes your credit rating a little bit higher.
Okay.
So the fact that we've been able to go through the program successfully, I mean, first tranche, second tranche, and whatever tranche, means that we are able to fulfill those conditionalities that comes with the loan. And so that will push our credit rating up.
Okay, Doc.
So yes, if IMF plays a role in this current credit rating, I wouldn't be surprised. And I would not be surprised that other credit ratings like the Standard & Poor's and the rest are going to rate Ghana a little bit higher because we've gone through the program successfully.
Okay, Doc. Thank you. But, Doc, how does this current credit rating affect the daily lives of ordinary Ghanaians, particularly in terms of prices and availability of goods?
Okay, so basically, we still happen to find ourselves in the C bracket. So if you are talking in terms of individuals' contribution at the micro level, it becomes a little bit difficult.
Okay.
Of course, anytime you are giving a higher credit rating, it means that investors are confident in the economy. They would come in and invest in purchases of goods and services or whatever. That is likely to boost employment. Price of goods and services might reduce because the investors are now confident and are now bringing in monies, be it production, service industry, or agriculture. But there's always a caution that given our bracket, you cannot fully assess the micro level impact.
Okay.
We can have a macro level impact with regards to government ability to get more loans, because now, once you are rated a little bit higher, it means that investors are also a little bit confident in you, so they are likely to give you loans at lower interest rates.
Okay.
And that will have a significant impact on our ability to access capital in the international market, government's ability to also get more loans for infrastructure projects and all that, which is a good sign. But it takes time for us to have a full impact at the micro level when investors decide to come in, or on the government side, government is getting more loans at lower interest rates. Of course, if you use your loan to invest in very productive sectors of the economy, then that will trickle down to the individual. So it's a little bit difficult to assess an entire micro level on an individual. It takes time. New policies takes time to trickle down to the individual.
Okay.
But at the macro level, in the short term, government is likely to be able to access more funds at lower interest rates. And that is good for the economy.
Okay, Doc, thank you so much. But, Doc, people are of the view that, or the truth is, every election year, we either spend more than our budgeted for the election. So people of the view that this time around, government should cut down expenditure despite our current credit rating. Please, do you support such argument or such call?
Of course, that is how government should behave. But I always ask myself, why is it that government would have to go a loan from IMF
Okay.
IMF will give certain conditionalities before government becomes disciplined.
Okay.
What is the problem? Our leaders sit with these people at IMF in the same class. They take the same economics course. Whatever they are told, they are also aware. They know how to manage and run an economy.
Okay.
I do not know why government would have to sit for IMF to come and tell you cut down expenditure, do that, before you have a very good outlook for the economy. I don't understand. I don't understand. So government is supposed to be disciplined, even throughout this election year, and it has been something that has gone on over and over again. And I'm not sure government will be disciplined. I'm not sure. I know that government will overspend. Of course, that's what has been happening all this while.
Yes.
And so I will not be surprised that we will be downgraded again some few months after the election, because it is likely that government would go back to what it used to do in the previous years.
Wow.
Most likely.
Okay, so
I'm hoping that government doesn't do that.
Okay, so Doug, as you said, government is likely to overspend during this election. Does it mean that when it happens that our credit rating might change? Or are we likely to go back to the CAA3 if government spend more in election this time around?
It does not necessarily reflect government expenditure and credit. It does not. As for the credit rating, it stands on its leg. It is the fact that you're able to get a loan and pay.
Okay.
So once you are credit wealthy, it is good. But the problem is that if you take the money and you don't spend it at where it will be productive, for example, you take the money and you use it for campaign, that is not productive. Then you may not be able to you may not be able to pay your loan.
Okay.
You have a high risk of default, and that's when it gets to the ratings again, it's likely that you'll be downgraded. It's just like an individual who takes money from the bank and uses the money to go and pay his son's school fees. No, he uses the money to pay his son's school fees or use it for recurrent expenditure. In that case, you will not be able to get the money to go and pay the bank. But if you have used the money to invest in the business, then you can multiply the money, pay off the bank, then the bank will rate you higher.
Okay.
That's the problem now.
Okay.
The government takes money and use the money to finance campaign or use it for recurrent expenditure that are not productive. Then the government is not able to pay the loan. Whatever rating that comes after the default time, it is likely that it will affect government.
Okay. Okay, Doug. Yeah, Doug, in your submission, you made mention of going out for a loan and you used to settle recurrent expenditure. It means that it's very difficult for you to pay. So to ordinary Ghanaian who goes out for loan, assuming they have credit worthiness and they go out for loan, they use for recurrent expenditure, what advice will you give to such people?
Basically, before you go in for a loan, you should have an idea what you're using the money for, number one. Number two, you ask yourself whether this money is productive, whether whatever investment you want to make is productive or not. If it is productive, the next question you have to ask yourself is, can I have enough to pay off the loan at the appropriate time, within the time has been given to pay? If you don't make such an assessment, and you just jump in and go for a loan, not knowing what you're going to use the money for, not knowing the investment, the likely return of investment on that project you want to undertake, you'd find yourself in such troubles.
Okay.
So it is always appropriate that you ask yourself certain pertinent questions. So, for example, if you are going for a loan to pay your son's school fees, then you have to understand that at the end of the day, you are offsetting the loan with your salary, for example.
Okay.
Or you are going for a loan to put up a building, then you should have a specific income stream that will help you pay off the interest on the loan, or better still, pay off the loan for a certain number of years. If you don't make such an assessment and you just jump in and go in for the loan without careful consideration, you will default, and that will bring your credit ratings down.
Okay.
And the last thing you would want to do as an individual is not to build trust.
Yeah.
That is a very dangerous thing because even with the banks, they give you a loan based on trust. They are trying to believe that you pay off the loan.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Doc. So, hello, Doc. Hello. Hello, Doc. Okay, so I think we've lost Doc on the line. But before then, we would ask Doc this question. But viewers, I believe we've gotten a whole lot about the credit rating. People are asking the question, is this really going to pave way for government to borrow more from the international market? And if they do, okay, hello, Doc.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yes, okay, so Doug is back on. Doug, people are also of the view that the current credit rating of Ghana is going to pave way for more loans to add to our debt, which is quite a burden. What do you think governments need to do in as much as we are currently at the CAA2 so that we don't overburden the debts we already have in relation to loans?
So I stated in my initial submission that we are still at the high risk section.
Yeah.
There's a lot of uncertainty and speculation among investors for all those countries or organizations within the high risk bracket. And so because of that, government has to be a little bit cautious. Of course, government can still get loans now at cheaper interest, but where the loans have to be invested should be areas that will be productive.
Okay.
So that we can get the needed return on investment to pay off the interest or the loan at the stipulated time. If we are not able to do that, then that is a problem. Now government can get more loans, but at cheaper costs. That is what we should know.
Okay.
At cheaper costs because of course, the upgrade. But where the loans has to be invested is the problem. Mind you that debt is not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. But what you use the money for makes it bad.
Okay.
If you're able to get a loan and use it as productive ventures, then that is not a bad thing. Japan has high debt to GDP ratio than Ghana.
Yeah.
But they are okay. Okay?
Okay.
We have relatively lower debt to GDP ratio than Japan. But we are not okay. It depends on what we use the money for. So going for the money itself is not a problem. What the money is being used for is the question here now.
Okay, Doc. Doc, thank you so much for your time. But Doc, before you go, your last words to viewers.
Okay, so viewers, we are heading towards election. I hope government is more disciplined during this time so that we don't go back to continuous downgrade. But there is always a very, very shady perception about this IMF and what they are trying to do for Ghana. And I tell you what, our leaders know more.
Okay.
Our leaders know more.
Okay.
They can be disciplined from the word go.
Okay.
And we will not need IMF. Let me give you a typical example. Okay. We have been taking cocoa syndicated loan for all these years.
Yes.
So I asked myself, so all these years cocoa board has been in existence. Haven't they been able to build a buffer so that we can pay off our farmers without going for a loan? When you look at these things, it doesn't really make sense. Every year we have to go for a loan to come and pay off farmers. So are we saying that we've not been able to build a buffer for all these years so that when it gets to the buying season, we don't have to go for a loan? Government says, I'm buying from you and I'm going to sell on the international market without going for a loan. You look at all these things and you ask yourself, what is actually going on? So our leaders know whatever IMF is telling them proud to or before, they know their solutions. They are not being disciplined. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doc. Yes, Doc, you made mention of the cocoa syndicated loan. I really wanted to chip in that. But currently, we heard of them going for self-financing. We are yet to see whether it's really going to work or they are doing it hand in hand with a syndicated loan. But, Doc, thank you so much for your time. We are so grateful. And we wish to have you in-house for another discussion on business-related story. So that is Dr. Joseph Nchibefi, Vice Dean of Akintina Piamenka University of Skill Training and Entrepreneur Development, and also the patron for Economic Students Association of Ghana. He was my lecturer who taught me macro and microeconomics at the university level. Thank you so much, and viewers, that's how we end up the business update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Stay tuned for more on the Cocoa Digest Morning Show.